Yo guys, D-Rock here. So I had a couple of requests for some like future-based chords and automation stuff like that. Um, so I figured I would go over that. So far, what I have here set up in a session, I've got a little drum beat going on. I've got some chords written out here. And then up here is sidechaining because I got that going through my sidechain bus. All right, so this first thing we will talk about will be the patch itself. I think I actually showed you guys how to make this patch, or at least an older version of this patch, because this is the new one. So a few things that to make note of in this patch. Number one, pitch bend range of a 2, because you can do some really fun stuff going like so. Doing stuff like that, and I think it sounds pretty cool. Cool at like when it's at 2 semitones rather than like 7 or 12 or something like that, because then you get too big of a scoop. If you want to do some like fun like fall offs that are going down a full octave, I'd recommend kind of just programming it inside of the Thor, like maybe it's like one of the buttons, like I think it's in here. Oh, let's see if I can find this. Yeah, right off the bat, pitch bend range. Automate that to jump back and forth between 2 and 12. Another thing to make note of is that right there, just because I think it sounds I like the sound of that unplugged. It's really good when you're going for more of a, maybe like a chilled out verse, and then like you don't get like let's see here, for example, like this one. If I enable this, it'll become just a regular low pass filter. So when it's down, you don't hear anything. Versus when you have that pluck going on, you still get the sense of the actual chord. Otherwise, a few things here to automate. So one, we got pitch bend, right, or just pitch bend. We've got filter frequency. We've got a high pass filter, which can be really useful, and then just the volume. One thing to make note about with this stuff is that I'm pretty sure all of these automations are all happening before the reverb, because that way, if you do like some like weird thing, then you still get that slight verb. So it's not like everything's being ducked out. It still has it in that space. All right, let's talk about the chords for a second. I'm working in F minor, just something that I've been grooving on recently. But with all these, I'm trying to add like a seventh of some sort. So you can hear. I believe this note right here is doing the seventh. So if we take that away, versus with it in, you get a little bit of that extra. That extra like I don't know, I guess color, if you will. And like this future-based stuff loves the color in there. If you're not too comfortable with your chords, which I mean I'm not super comfortable with them, but I know enough to be dangerous. You can always use, if you're a 9 scales and chords player, if you throw it up to number 4 for whatchamacallit, I'm blanking on the name. Crap. Let's see here. If you throw the note number up to 4, then you get that the 7th chords. 5 is 9ths as well, which can really sound good as well. But for this, we're just going to use the ones that we've got in here. All right, so now let's go into actually doing some stuff now. So I've got my chords already. I'm going to drop it down to like 8th notes. And we're going to work on this second half right here. So I just put this in here that way I could have the chords and I can just grab from these chords, pull it in, and then shrink them down from there. I would say abuse the Alt button while you're doing this, just because it's easier than having to redraw out the chords the whole time, and you're able to, and it's also quicker than doing just copy paste. All right, so number one that I like to do is to have a scoop into that like first chord. I think it sounds really nice. With that, we could also do a high pass in to give it that little extra scoop. Let's copy that over, and let's try this. I'm just gonna try some stuff, kind of winging this on the fly. Okay, so now this is in 16ths in here. I like to typically draw it longer than the actual note, and then shrink it back down. And I also like to have the scoop in longer than or quicker than the fade out of the automation. Let's do some more fun stuff. I'll get rid of that right there. Let's shrink this down in half. Actually, you know what? We'll do this. Sorry, my stomach's growling right now. Bada bum bum. It's good to really just like to kind of like mix and match a lot of your automation stuff, because then you start getting some just like some really odd timbres and sounds that you wouldn't have normally thought of. So where's that second chord? Here. So now we're on the second chord. If you want also, it can sound really nice when you copy down the automation of the low pass to the volume. I think let's just try it out. It's a bit more chunky, I guess, or choppy. We're gonna scoop into this one as well. And that one will go down. So you can see that I like to just kind of have a few individual automation curves. If you're using 9, use the reverse. It's going to be really, really nifty as well. So like the overall objective with this is going to be just get some movement going on, get a lot of stuff moving around, doing some cool, interesting things. If you want, you can do like a little batch reverse of stuff to get something that like you wouldn't normally have. I kind of like that right there, actually. Once again, we're doing that scoop in. What are we going to do here? So you hear that right there? This is an issue that you'll encounter a lot when you're doing this stuff. It's kind of a pain because you get that click because the automation's jumping from what you had set to. Because like if you look at this, the baseline automation I believe is at the bottom, and on this one at the very top. So you'll get that weird click every now and again. When you do encounter that, turn off snap and just have like a little bit of pre-roll there. Where are we at? I forgot where we were at. So yeah, just mix and match stuff. Eventually, you'll start kind of hearing the patterns you like. With this patch in particular, I like to stack it with another one. What did I call that? I think it's super saws, or saws are super. Here we go. This one I have to edit a little bit because it's got all that verb in there, or that delay. And my computer is lagging like crazy right now. But one thing that I'd highly recommend doing is to link up all of your automation within your combinators. So like this one, I don't have a high pass filter or any of that stuff created yet, so I'm gonna have to make it on the fly. Let's see if I can move quickly without making this thing go too long. We're just going to there and that going to here. HPF. We had the other one on 3 filter frequency. I don't think you need to have it all the way up. I'm gonna drop it down to like 5. That works. This needs to be sent through the sidechain bus as well. And then just volume, which I believe this defaults to 79. Yep. So just do the master volume. 79. And then last but not least, gotta change these all to 2 because I didn't have this one set for this. I'm sorry, guys. Please forgive me. Okay, so yeah, so now we got all that same automation. Drop that down there, and you'll hear that like this one is gonna fill out a lot of the top end. That's doing some funky stuff there. If my computer wasn't lagging as bad, I'd probably go investigate it. But yeah, that's good. This is at least how I do some like future-based chords. A lot of times I'll also maybe throw like a saw following it, like following all this stuff, same automation. Yeah, if you have any questions about this stuff, drop me a comment or shoot me a message. I'm thinking that sometime soon I'm going to put out a new refill that's got a bunch of my favorite sounds that I've created over a while. That'll include these 2 sounds, and probably some stuff that I've done over time. You see I got a whole bunch of crap here. But yeah, otherwise, I will catch you guys next time.